Good afternoon, everyone. This is Avialae, aka the Bay Southern Belle, and I just wanted to make a short video offering my brief commentary on a situation that is currently unfolding and seemingly imploding all over social media right now. One of the most sensationalized events of the year, I think we can say, in terms of political discourse, and one of the most hilariously ironic events of the year that I can safely say is definitely one of the most manipulative and deceptive forms of political manipulation we have seen in quite some time. Of course, what I am referring to are the alleged bombings that are occurring regarding the suspicious packages that have been delivered to various left-wing politicians and activists, including, of course, George Soros, the Clintons, Eric Holder, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and Maxine Waters. Now, according to what the mainstream media is insisting upon, there have been several suspicious packages that have been delivered to the offices, headquarters, and residences of all of these left-wing individuals. Now, I find it incredibly ironic and hilarious that in such a short period of time, within 24 to 48 hours, in fact, since all of this has been unfolding, we've not only seen several of these suspicious packages popping up all over the country in various locations, but we've also seemingly had the stage set to demonize and criminalize Trump and any of his right-wing supporters and anyone that is considered even remotely right-wing or nationalist to be complicit in what is now being considered to be a terrorist act or a threat of terrorism. What's absolutely hilarious about this is the fact that within 24 hours of this event unfolding, the New York Times has published an op-ed by the son of George Soros, that being Anthony Soros, who's been vehemently condemning Trump as the alleged instigator and inspiration for this evil hate crime, this atrocious terrorist attack. What's also interesting about this is to see how Hillary Clinton has conveniently found time to be aired on MSNBC to discuss how utterly abominable this act of terrorism is and how it is being instigated by the right-wing media and right-wing nationalists and politicians. Now, for anyone who's actually naive and is not aware of political manipulation and the mechanisms involved in political discourse, they might find this to be rather strange. But for those of us who are familiar with it, we of course can expect events like this, what are often condemned and considered to be false flags, are mere attempts of collaborative political manipulation used to turn the tides in a specific direction in terms of political influence. Of course, we also find this to be incredibly ironic that this is occurring right before midterm elections, in which we will see the tides rapidly shift one direction or the other. But of course, we do know that many Democrats are seeking election during this period of time, including in my own home state of Georgia, in which an alleged black socialist who believes that we need to destroy Stone Mountain is currently seeking election as the governor. We are seeing this all over the country right now. So many individuals that are Democrats running for election, and of course midterms is considered to be one of the most prominent periods of time regarding political influence in the United States. So can we truly actually expect this to be a legitimate case of terrorism right before the midterm elections? That, to me, seems to be a bit ironic. But what is even more ironic than that is the fact that these bombs, as they are claiming them to be, are so conspicuously being placed in these locations, number one, in those locations that obviously are going to be fortified under heavy security, and obviously those packages are never going to reach the individuals that they're addressed to, because all of the individuals possess security that are going to screen through every package received in those locations. Do you seriously think that someone would realistically attempt to send these conspicuous pipe bombs that are so made to such an amateur degree that they're so obvious with wires coming out of both ends that this is any legitimate threat to these Democratic politicians? This, to me, seems to be the epitome of political manipulation and irony that anyone would ever believe these threats to be legitimate in any way whatsoever, especially given the current Republican influence that possesses our country as it is, with a profoundly successful Republican president who has recently explicitly called himself a nationalist, with an economy that's currently booming because of his successful policies, and with border security that is securing our countries right now against hordes of foreign invaders that would simply love to invade our countries. Do we really think that amidst all of these successful political endeavors, we would truly sabotage our own political influence by sending these amateur, conspicuous devices or bombs to these prominent Democratic politicians? Seriously, do you really expect us to believe that? It's utterly hilarious to me that the state of the Democratic Party is so desperate and so desolate that they have built such a platform off of victimization. They now fabricate their own hate crimes in order to garnish sympathy from American citizens. What is the state of a party that claims to represent social justice and equality when it is resorting itself down to false, fabricated incidents that are orchestrated in order to gain sympathy towards the Democratic Party as being a party of victims? Can we really ever believe something like this to be legitimate? Of course not. Logically speaking, would anything like this ever occur by Republicans when Republicans are being so successful in terms of their current political influence? Of course not. To me, if it indicates anything, it is that everyone involved in the Democratic Party need jump ship in the near future, because it is going downhill and it is doing so incredibly rapidly. This to me is nothing more than a demonstration of the political manipulation and an attempt to subvert any success that the Republicans have gained since the nomination of President Trump. What does it say about your political party when it simply monetizes and capitalizes upon victimization? When they simply want you, women, racial minorities, Hispanics, blacks, and every other individual that they attempt to appeal to, what does it say when they claim to want you, but they only want you insofar as they may victimize you? What does it say when the parties claiming to represent you are simply fabricating their own hate crimes in an attempt to call you a victim, to claim that you are the poor, oppressed victim of an evil, malicious government that has, in actuality, been quite beneficial to you? If anything, it need be noted how successful this Republican administration has been, how successful President Trump has been in revitalizing our economy, in securing our borders, in creating millions and millions of jobs. He has been profoundly successful. In fact, even to those groups that the Democratic Party is attempting to appeal to, those of course include racial minorities, of which the employment rate is at an all-time low, for women as well, of which there is an unprecedented number of women within Trump's administration, and towards every other group that the Democratic Party is desperately attempting to appeal to. If anything may be said about this situation, it is simply this. The Democratic Party is attempting to pull whatever tricks they can out of their hat, because that is the tool they use solely for the purpose of political manipulation, to keep you as puppets on their strings and to maintain control over you. I think it says quite a lot that all of these individuals and these demographics that the Democratic Party is attempting to maintain control over have actually been flourishing quite well under our current Republican administration. If anything may be said about this, it is that all of the circumstances revolving around these alleged bombs or suspicious packages are incredibly inconsistent, logically incoherent, and incredibly suspicious given the current timing regarding the midterm elections that are swiftly approaching. With that said, I would like to wrap up this brief video with one statement, and one that I believe is one of the most prominent and significant in current political times. That statement is by one of my personal favorite political activists, Candace Owens, who has been so heavily demonized by the Democratic Party for being a racial minority that does not buy into the victimization of the left. She made a statement in which she simply said, "We seek to be victors, not victims." It is only under those conditions that we will better the United States and increase the sufficiency, the efficiency, and the quality of modern America. So if you are a woman, if you are African American or Hispanic or any other individual that is within these demographics that the Democratic Party is so desperately attempting to appeal to, wake up and realize, if anything, you are nothing more than a victimized political pawn to them. We as Republicans consider you to be valuable American citizens who have an opportunity to immensely contribute to what is one of the most successful countries in the entire world. On the left, they consider you to be victims. On the right, we consider you to be victors. With that said, it's time to make your choice, my fellow Americans. Have a good day, everyone.